Our respected chairperson, ma'am, is not merely a program, rather a bridge between the future aspirations of our students and the accomplishments of our distinguished alumni. Before we proceed, we would like to express our deep respect and heartfelt gratitude to our guiding lights and visionary leaders, our revered founder president, Dr. Ashok K. Chauhan, sir, and our esteemed chairperson, Dr. Mrs. Amita Chauhan, ma'am, whose compassion, dedication, values, and unwavering belief in the potential of every student serves to be the driving force behind Sarthi. We are also deeply honored and privileged to have with us today our respected principal, Mrs. Amita Mohan ma'am, who has been a pioneer in transforming the lives of thousands of young minds across generations. Sarthi is ultimately the culmination of the vision of our esteemed chairperson ma'am, whose tireless commitment and dedication continue to inspire us every single day. Today we invite a distinguished panel of our young Amitians who are striving to become the emerging pioneers of change in their respective domains. Through meaningful interactions with alumni mentors, our students are offered far more than just guidance. They are given a window into journeys, stories that have created real impact beyond the confines of textbooks. In these conversations, they find not only clarity in career paths, but also reassurance, motivation, and the comforting realization that they are part of something larger, a lifelong Amitian family. Sarthi is not just an initiative, it is a homecoming of purpose. Just as envisioned by our respected chairperson, ma'am, it offers our alumni a chance to give back to the very institution, the mentors, and the guiding lights who once shaped their beginnings and believed in their potential. It is our way of honoring those roots. At the same time, it becomes a bridge between generations where our alumni gently illuminate the path ahead for those who now stand where they once stood. Through their stories, struggles, and successes, they inspire the next generation of Amitians to move forward with courage, purpose, and conviction. In doing so, they remain deeply connected, not just to a place, but to a legacy that continues to grow, evolve, and live through each of them. As we continue the celebration of connection and inspiration, it is now time to welcome the guiding voices who truly embody the spirit of Sarthi. Let us extend a huge round of applause as we warmly welcome our esteemed keynote speakers. Tanmay Goyal from the batch of 2015, Simran Arora from the batch of 2017, Tanya Kaur from the batch of 2021, and Soumya Goyal from the batch of 2019. We warmly welcome you all back to your alma mater. To begin this enlightening session, we invite our first speaker, Simran Arora. Simran Arora is currently pursuing her MPP at Harvard Kennedy School and has previously been associated with Rockefeller Philanthropy Advisors, where she worked on strategizing and implementing large-scale philanthropic programs, deploying over $150 million in grants. Her work reflects a strong commitment to public policy, global development, and systemic impact. Over to you, ma'am.
Perfect. Hi, everyone. Good morning. Can you hear me?
We can hear you, Simran. Thank you so much, Betu, for being here.
Of course, it's so nice to see you, ma'am. It's so nice to see everyone and be back. I'm gonna try to share my screen.
Please.
Perfect. Okay, I know this is early, so good morning, and hopefully we'll make this worth your time. It's so nice to be back. I got to say hi to Vinay Bhaiya right before this, so I'm very happy. But okay, I will get started and not take up too much of everyone's time. Hi everyone, I'm Simran. As you just heard, I was of the batch of 2017, which feels like forever ago. And I'm going to talk a little bit about my journey and my career over the last 9 years post Amity and what that has looked like. I will not go into detail of everything that I've done over the last 7 years, but I want to highlight this thread that has been a big part of my journey, which has been that of a calculated risk. So after Amity, I decided to pursue my undergraduate studies at Claremont McKenna College. Claremont McKenna is a liberal arts college in California. The reason I bring this up, and the reason I think it's really important, especially for all of you who are in 11th and 12th now, is that it's not a name that people around me knew. It's not a name that if my mom mentioned it to like an auntie, they knew. But I think it was really important for me to pick something that was right for me and pick something that was best for me and delay something that was not externally validating, right? Like, I joke that I failed the auntie test, which is that if the auntie next door would know it, that I was failing that test. If she asked my mom what I was doing, she wouldn't know what they were talking about. And I think sometimes when you're making these decisions, it's very easy to make that decision based on what will get you the most prestige right off the bat, what will get you the most validation right off the bat. Another piece I'll highlight here is that I think it was really tricky for me. I remember being in 11th and 12th, trying to balance my board exams and studying for 12th, but also balancing studying for the SAT exams and balancing my US applications. And I think a lot of that was, again, like taking a calculated risk with a backup plan and making sure that you balanced both things. But yeah, so I majored in psychology in undergrad, after which I spent a lot of time working in the social impact space and working in the nonprofit sector. Um, I think here again, what was really important for me was working in something that was aligned with my values, something that I knew I was excited by, um, and knew that if I kept working in this space, opportunities would follow. I got to live in Indonesia, I got to live in Denmark, and then when I graduated, I got to move to Chicago for a job. And this was not always the easiest choice, I think, especially right out of college. There were friends that were doing computer science, friends that were maybe doing investment banking, but I knew that it would pay off in the long run. And again, it was this question of what does your daughter do or what is your daughter doing? And it's quite funny for my mom or my parents to say, well, she's working in nonprofit or oh, she's working in social impact. Um, and I think some of it started paying off once I started working at Rockefeller. So like the student in my introduction said, I'll talk a little bit more about what philanthropy is. Essentially, I was working as a consultant where I helped organizations, family foundations, or corporations do their charitable giving. So let's say if someone in America wanted to fund nonprofits that worked for girls' education in a rural village in India, someone like me would come in and help them do the research, help them learn about the local context, identify nonprofits, and do all of that work. And I got to work with Nike, I got to work with MasterCard Foundation, I got to work with Michael Jordan for all of you who are basketball fans. And I got to, again, like this was something that was very niche. It was not the most well-known thing, but it was perfect for me. I got to learn a lot. I was working on really big projects really early in my career. But again, it was something where I failed the auntie test, right? I was not at Google, I was not at Microsoft. It was not a name that was like known right off the bat. It was something that was specific, something that I was good at, but something that aligned with what I wanted to do. And this one I think is a fun part next, but after a couple of years at Rockefeller, I did not get my H-1B visa. So basically you are a student in the US, you get to be a student for a little bit, and then afterwards you get to work here for a couple of years, depending on if you do a STEM degree or not. And then after that, you have to go through a lottery system for like an H-1B visa. When I didn't get that lottery, because it's basically like a lucky draw, I had a choice between going to Columbia University, which is in New York, or coming back to India. Columbia is a great university. It's also an Ivy League school. It's really good. But I decided to decline that offer and come back to India. Again, failing the auntie test, as I would call it, right? I think this was a risk. It was a scary choice to be made. It was definitely a calculated risk. But I think I knew that I could aim higher and I could do something more. And I wanted to take this bet on myself. And I took that time. I came back to India. I worked on projects in India. I spent some time with family. And then next round, when I applied, I got a full ride from Columbia. I got multiple scholarships from other universities, and I got into Harvard, which is where I am now. And I think trying to follow some of the similar things at Harvard, which is try new things, talk to people, and continuing building a career that I love and that works for me. And I think the reason I'm telling my journey like this is because when I was in 11th and 12th, I was really concerned and nervous, and there was a lot of anxiety around what other people around me were doing. There was a lot of noise around that. Um, and I think at that age, it's very easy to be influenced by that. But I think it's also important to just kind of be grounded, be centered, and think about what are your talents, what are your passions. Quickly moving on, I think this is my favorite slide. I loved going back down memory lane and trying to find these pictures. Um, I think Amity shaped me in more ways than I can count. The first one for sure has been the experiences and exposure that I got through extracurriculars. I think Amity does a phenomenal job with its network of other schools, the inter-Amity competitions, but also the network of the chairperson ma'am that has built. I got to do Youth Power, Global Times, Model UN, Interact Club, like student exchange to Germany. And I think a lot of this is very unique, and this is not common for someone to have done all of this in their high school experience, and I really enjoyed. And I think it truly made me who I am, and it is the reason I am who I am today, because I got to have all these experiences at a very young age, and it built a lot of what I now execute in life. Secondly, teachers. I think I could spend the next 60 minutes talking about the great teachers I had at Amity. I think they empowered me every step of the way, allowed us to ask questions, but also engage with them. And I think that has truly shaped who I am, who most of us are outside of school. They are your first mentors, advisors, and cheerleaders. So definitely use them as a resource and have those conversations and talk about what you're nervous about or thinking about. It definitely was a big, big impact on my life. I think over my career, I've realized that what was so special about Amity was the values that it taught us. I've realized that anywhere you go, like it's not common for people to respect other people, to respect their community and have this close-knit community. I was in Amity from nursery through 12th grade, so I can name, it was just where I grew up, and I think those values are truly deep imbibed in us, and I've definitely seen a difference that makes with us. And lastly, but most importantly, I think friendships that last continents and countries. I've lived around the world, and what's been helpful is always having my best friend from back in 4th grade, who I call if I'm crying or if I'm happy. And I think one thing I will say here, which is really important, is as you grow and change, and now when a lot of you will go off to college, it's very important to make sure that you support each other, but also allow each other the space to grow and evolve. You will have a friend who goes to a different country and has a different experience, or a friend who even just goes to Pune or Bangalore. But I think making sure that you have each other as a foundational support will be transformative. And these are the people that you will always come home to. Yeah, okay. So a few things that I have learned. Be very strategic about long-term goals. Like I said, choose what's best for you and not what is externally validating. I think the road less traveled pays off, and it really doesn't matter what anyone else is doing. But like I said, be strategic. The third point here, which is take calculated risks, right? Like have a backup option, but don't be afraid to aim high and try things out. But make sure that you have a backup option. Do your research. Like I said, like make use of every opportunity, say yes, study abroad, do the summer programs, volunteer, participate in the clubs. Being good at studies is the bare minimum now, I think, and you all know that, you see that. You have to have something else that you're offering and bringing to the table. The fourth point is, I think if you take anything from my session here, is this. I think bring your parents along your journey. You have to communicate with them. There'll be times where you'll be like, my parents aren't getting it, they're not understanding. But this is a long life, and they will be a part of your life for the rest of your life. They are your besties. If you are able to communicate with them, learn how to sit with them and understand their perspective and share your perspective at this stage, it'll really just help. And that can be for big things like where you want to go study. Maybe you want to go to Bangalore, but they want you to stay in Delhi. Maybe you want to try a different career, but they have their concerns. I remember in 11th and 12th, I would sit down with my mom and we would like sit on Google together and do just research, and we would think about different careers and discuss things. And my parents would share what they wanted for me out of my life and what their expectations were, or what their worries were. And I think just building that habit of having open and honest conversations with your parents really helps. And I think in not just the big career things, but even if you want to travel with your friends when you're in college, you want to be able to sit next to your parents and have a conversation with them. And I think it's truly changed my life, and they've supported me throughout everything I've done. But that was because I was communicating with them across the way. And I think lastly, and very importantly, like protect your physical health and hobbies. The routine you build in 11th and 12th will help you throughout your life. And just making sure that you're not deprioritizing that as you prioritize other things, because I know like it is a really stressful time. So yeah, these are just some things that I feel like I have really benefited from. I hope these are helpful. This is a fun slide, but I think this is really important. I don't want to sit here and tell you that Harvard is what you should aim for. I think I was lucky and privileged, and I worked really hard to get here. But I also don't want to say that you shouldn't aim for it. I think the institution helps tremendously. It opens doors, it like helps you get access to people, helps you get access to things. I think now I know that if I email someone, they will respond. I know that people look at me with a certain degree of respect and they try to listen to what I have to say to them. But at the end of the day, you are the person who has to do the work. A strong brand can open doors, but you have to walk through them. And at the end of the day, what really matters and what creates your value is your skills, your curiosity, your ability to talk to people, to communicate with them, connect with them. And then are you showing up, right? Like you can be at a Harvard or you can be at a different school. You can be at a top tier school, a medium tier, like you can be anywhere, but are you putting in the effort? Are you reaching out to people? Are you messaging them on LinkedIn? Are you emailing them? Are you engaged in classrooms and activities? Are you learning from the people around you? I think oftentimes at these ages, we aim for this institution and this big name, but we forget that your aim should actually just be to be the best version of yourself. And you just have to do the best with the opportunities that are offered to you. And I think aiming for an institution doesn't really pay off, is what I've learned in my life. You just have to keep doing what you're good at, keep building your skills, your ability to talk to people and learn from them, and the rest will follow. Very Three Idiots for those who've seen it, but I feel like I may be too old for that reference. Yeah, I think, and just some things that you might be worried about right now. Um, there is no right or wrong choice. You are going to work for the next 50 years. It's a long road ahead. So feel free to like try different things. This was the best advice that I once got in college. And I think a lot of times when I've been in rooms where I have been the youngest person, at Rockefeller, I was the youngest employee. At Harvard, oftentimes I've been next to like someone who was a finance minister in their country, and we're studying economics together. Or someone who, did other, like was at the World Bank and we're also studying together. And I've realized that it is very beneficial to be around other smart people. I want to be the dumbest person in the room. I want to know the least. So then the people around me push me to be better, and I have to feel like I have to catch up. I think, and again, like I said, like it's okay to go to a university that maybe like some your relatives don't know about, or choose a degree that your relatives don't know about, but make sure that as you take that risk, it's calculated. You've spoken to your teachers, you've spoken with mentors, you've done your research. Everything's available on the internet now, so I think just make sure you do your research. And if you don't know what you want to do, I think that's totally okay. Like my biggest advice is to try things out. If you're in 11th, you have a summer, like spend some time volunteering or interning, even in college, make sure you're doing those internships and volunteering. If you don't have time for that, just if, let's say, if you want to do marketing, find someone on LinkedIn who's working in marketing at a Swiggy or a Zomato and message them and say, can I talk to you for 15 minutes? And see what they have to say, what their day-to-day is like, what are the tasks that they're doing. You'll only figure out what you want to do if you try it out and just speak to other people. But yeah, that's it. I will stop here for now and let y'all ask me some questions.
That was beautiful, Simran. Let them know what time it's there in your place where you're right now. They should feel very happy about it.
Thank you so much, ma'am. It is 12 a.m. It's midnight exactly.
That's so nice. And I think this generation of yours sleeps only at 3 o'clock. So that should be okay with you, or what do you suggest?
I actually, I was in 12th grade, I wake up at 6 a.m. So I'm this is way past my bedtime.
That's so nice. And I think we can have, you'll be leaving the session, Simran, we can have the question answer sessions with when all of them have finished speaking.
Sounds good.
That's good. Thank you so much, Simran. That was so, so beautiful. Can we have a huge round of applause?
Thank you. Good luck, everyone.
Thank you so much, ma'am. That was truly inspiring. We also have Tanya Kaur Talwar, who is currently serving as a lab manager and research coordinator at University of Toronto, working at the intersection of research, education, and real-world application. She is a graduate of the University of Toronto, Scarborough, where she earned an honors Bachelor of Science in Psychology with a minor in Applied Statistics. Over the past several years, she has gained experience leading complex research projects, collaborating with diverse communities and partners, and translating academic
Can we
insights
pay attention?
into her growing interest in problem solving and innovation to create a meaningful impact in the world. We welcome you, ma'am.
Good morning, everybody. It is such a pleasure to be here. Can you all hear me?
We can all hear you, Tanya.
Hello, ma'am. How are you? Oh my God. It's genuinely so lovely to be here. It's been a while since I visited school, I think maybe almost a year and a half ago. Thank you so much, Mon ma'am, Mansi ma'am, and Deepa ma'am for having me here. And a big, big thank you to respected chairperson ma'am for creating opportunities like this where we bridge the gap between alumni and students and we can have honest conversations about life after school. I have 20 minutes with all of you today. So I plan to spend about 10-15 talking about my journey and then followed by questions. So we'll just do questions at the end. I'll just talk about some of the ups and downs that I had, my journey, and a few things I really wish I had known when I was sitting where you are now. And firstly, Simran, thank you so much for that talk. I related a lot myself. And I think those are some things I wish I would have known when I was in school as well. So big +1 towards Simran's side. So a little bit about me. I graduated from Amity PV in 2021. And after school, I was fortunate enough to receive a full scholarship to study at the University of Toronto, where I completed an honors of Bachelor's of Science degree in psychology and applied stats. Today, I manage the Mathematical Thinking Lab at the Ontario Institute for Studies in Education, which is the Master's School for Education at U of T. On a daily basis, I run research projects. So I do a lot of brain scans, exactly what you might be thinking. My research projects are related to learning, thinking, and education. So I work with kids aged 2 years to adults aged 80 years, all with the goal of understanding how humans learn and how can we improve education, especially math education. How can we teach math better, basically? And this is really funny because if you had told me in school that one day I would be doing research in math, I would not have believed you. At one point, I was quite convinced that I would become a journalist and I loved writing, and that is what my fate would be. And that is exactly why I wanted to speak to you today, because my journey was not predictable at all. And it changed right at grade 10. So a year before where you all are now. I think we have grade 11 and 12 here. And some of the biggest things that shaped my future came from opportunities that I almost overlooked. And I walked past those opportunities. One of the most important turning points in my life was Vasudha and Mathemati. Yeah. And at the time, I did not see it as some huge life-changing opportunity. It felt like just another school activity. And I'm sure all of you are thinking that that is what it is right now for you as well. But it really, really changed my life. It was grade 9, and I was someone who was very, very involved in co-curricular activities. I was never in class, and all my teachers hated me for it. But in grade 9, I didn't have anything on my plate. And I really, really wanted to be involved in something more than academics. So I remember when we had Vasudha and Mathemati, we used to get 2 hours, 2 periods after break or before break to work on our projects. The topic assigned to me was math and mazes, and I was not a math liking kid. I did not identify as someone who was good at math. Yet, because I wanted to do something with my time, I went home and started exploring this relationship between math and mazes. And I found some very interesting connections between spatial thinking, learning, and how mazes can help neurodivergent populations, like students who are on like autism spectrum or ADHD spectrum, etc. So after my research, I found this, I got inspired by this 3-dimensional maze online, and I was like, okay, chalo, let's make this. And I needed Lego cubes. आप लोगों को पता होगा Lego cubes क्या होते हैं, but I didn't have Lego cubes at the time. So I really racked my brain and I realized that जो हमारे math lab में जोड़ो cubes होते हैं, they're very similar to Lego cubes. And I was like, okay, I'm just going to use this to make this maze model that I have decided is going to be my mathematics project. So I went down, I asked my teachers, I went down to the math lab, borrowed some Jodo cubes and made this 3-dimensional maze. I didn't have some master plan. And as I said, I didn't think much would come out of it because I wasn't a math kid. And I walked into my first judging. I just made a maze, related it to math, and brought it to the judges. And I remember one of my judges was Radha ma'am. And even though there wasn't much merit to my idea, the judges and Radha ma'am especially showed a lot of faith in my idea and my effort. And along with the teachers, my team and I came up with a project that could actually solve a real world problem. It went from absolutely nothing to something of great, great value. That project became much bigger than I expected. With the support of my teachers and my school and Mohan ma'am, I developed a great idea. We went to multiple national science fairs, and we also went to the world's largest science fair, which was held in the US. I got to represent Team India. And that was my first trip outside India as well. I had never been abroad. And it completely changed how I viewed myself and what I thought was possible for my future. I met students from all over India who were part of Team India and also across the world when I went to Intel ISF, which was the science fair. And I was exposed to ideas, ambitions, paths that I had never really imagined for myself. I heard people talking about studying abroad, getting scholarships, doing research, different career paths, and it suddenly felt much more real and much more possible. In fact, one of my team members who came with me to represent Team India mentioned the Lester B. Pearson scholarship to me, and that eventually became the scholarship that brought me to University of Toronto. And this fair also allowed me to stand next to some really brilliant minds who were presenting some life-changing behavioral science research. And in that moment, standing there presenting my research project, I was like, wait, I keep saying that I don't belong here and that I'm not a math kid and what am I doing here? But I am here, and maybe I can do math, and maybe I can do science, and maybe I can do research, and I don't need to limit myself because that has been my idea all along. So when I look back now, I think that one experience taught me one of the biggest lessons of my life, which was that sometimes the opportunities that have the potential to change your life do not look important in the moment. Vasudha to grade 9 Tanya did not look like it could shape my future. It was just something I engaged with, and that made all the difference. So I think the biggest takeaway here is find opportunities near you and take them seriously, even if they do not look like much at first. This experience also taught me to something just as important, which is not to overlook the resources you have around you. I didn't have extraordinary tools to build the project that took me this far. I had my teacher's support, I had the internet, and I had Jodo cubes. And I think that was enough to create something meaningful. And that small beginning ended up opening a lot of doors for me in the future. So I think like your school and teachers will matter to you in ways which often become clear to you later and you don't understand in the moment. And when you're in school, it's very easy to just think of school in terms of classes or the homework you have or the exams. But school is the place where you get exposed to multiple possibilities of your future. It is where teachers will notice your strengths before you do, and they will show faith in you. They will push you to take initiative. And it is also the place where you will get pushed towards an opportunity that will seem small or seem like something you don't want to partake in, but it can end up becoming something much bigger. So looking back, I think one of the most valuable things a student can do is take initiative to get involved in existing opportunities around you. I think this is what Simran was also saying, like get involved. And if you are not a fan of the opportunities that exist around you, then create opportunities for yourself and for others. If there is merit in your idea and the opportunity you want to bring to the table that you researched or you heard about from your friends or your parents or your community, and you bring it to your teachers, and if you're willing to put in the work, I promise you, your teachers and your principal will take you seriously and will find a way to get you there. There is nothing your school wants more than seeing you taking the initiative to grow yourself and your community of peers. And there are two more things that I want you to take away from my experience. One, that in school you'll end up having a very fixed idea of who you are and what you're capable of. And I did that too, as you can see. I thought I could not pursue math or science. I didn't recognize Vasudha as an opportunity because I wasn't a math or science kid. And I didn't think it could lead me to anywhere meaningful. And I think that is a huge danger of limiting yourself too early. You become very convinced that something is not for you. And so much so that you even stop seeing it as an opportunity. And I truly believe that real growth and success only begins when you step into things you never imagined for yourself. So this will be my biggest takeaway. Please learn to take initiative and try not to be too afraid to try things that may not speak to you in the beginning, or you even want to try, but you don't think that you have the aptitude for it. Because I assure you, if you are motivated enough to learn, there are enough people around you who care to get you there. And this is something that has come to me along the way, like as I did this project and I got into university, and now I've gotten out of university. I've been working for 8 months now. And I think something that I've learned that is really important is learning how to communicate well. I started learning this at the beginning of this research project because I had to present this research, as I said, at multiple national science fairs. I was grateful enough to also pick up a lot of opportunities in school to do comparing, as a student is doing right now at different events, and host different events. And I was part of a lot of theater competitions. I used to write for Global Times. And I think it really helped me. I've also met a lot of people who did not take up these opportunities, even in university when it was open to all. And I see the difference it makes in my life to be able to communicate well. It is a big lesson for me, and I want to pass it on to you. No matter what field you go into, your ability to express your ideas clearly will help you enormously. whether it is university applications, whether it is interviews you're going to take in the future for jobs, any presentations you have to make, even a simple email to reach out to internships you want to take in the summer, like Simran was suggesting, or simply just speaking to people with confidence or in your community and your friends. Communication really, really matters. You can be really talented and hardworking, but if you cannot express what you think and you can't demonstrate your skills and your strengths, it becomes very hard for people to see. And I think every day engage in writing, expressing yourself, and doing it a bit better. Reading helps improve writing. I know it's not very intuitive, but it's true. So yeah, that would be a huge takeaway from me. If I could just leave you with a few things today, it would be take small opportunities seriously. Do not underestimate the resources that exist around you. Be open-minded to paths you have not yet imagined for yourself, and learn how to express yourself clearly and confidently. A lot can change from one project, one conversation with a teacher, or one opportunity that you almost did not take seriously and ignored. Thank you so much for listening, and I would be very, very happy to take your questions in the end.
Thank you so much, Tanya. That was so, so beautiful.
Thank you, ma'am. Thank you so much.
What time is it there right now?
Same as Simran, midnight.
Good, great.
Yeah, I am a late sleeper, so it's fine.
I'm sure you will not suggest that for all of the youngsters this year.
No, not at all.
Good. Thank you. We'll be having the question hour session after this then.
Yeah, absolutely.
Thank you so much for connecting with us, Tanya. We are so grateful to you.
Thank you, ma'am.
Can we have silence, please?
We have Soumya Goel, who is currently serving as business head at Skipper IQ in Nigeria and partner at IQ Vision Private Limited in India. A graduate in mathematics and economics from University of California, San Diego, she has significantly contributed to academic research through case studies at IIM Ahmedabad and is
Silence.
currently driving scalable healthcare solutions across geographies. We invite you, ma'am.
Can we have silence here, please? Thank you, Soumya, for being here.
Hi, thank you, ma'am. Really nice to be here. I'll just share my screen. Just okay. So I think Sim and Tanya covered a lot of what I would have said as well. But I'll just keep it really brief and then we can go to questions at the end. So hi, I'm Soumya and I was a part of the 2019 batch. And it's really nice to be here, even virtually. The auditorium looks the same as I left it. So that's nice. And so I'll just keep it really brief and then we can go from there. So a quick background, right after school, I flew to the US and I studied at University of California, San Diego. And I studied math, economics, and business because I kind of didn't know what I wanted to do. So I was like, let me just take up all the subjects that I can get and see where I go from there. And after that, I have worked in a lot of different things. Like I've worked as a consultant at PwC, and I worked at a venture capital fund in San Francisco. And after that, I also interned at IIM Ahmedabad recently. So it was never a linear line or a straight line for me. I just wanted to try a lot of different things and see like what kind of made my heart light up, like a preachy way to say it. Each thing led me to the next, and I genuinely couldn't have planned it to work out this way. So that brings me to what I'm doing today. Today, I'm working and living in Nigeria, where I'm building eye healthcare there. We serve across 6 locations in Lagos and Abuja. And in a country where healthcare is quite inaccessible, this is the impact that I dreamt of making as a child. We also recently started a mobile eye clinic, which serves like free eye screenings and free spectacles to underserved communities of Nigeria. And this sort of community service was instilled in me from school. I took a lot of part in all of the volunteering that was there in school, and community service is instilled in me and my brother both, who will speak after me today. And it's a pivotal part of our journey. So whatever we do has to make impact, and that's like a non-negotiable for us. Which brings me to the school. I always thought of Amity as a launchpad. It obviously helped having an elder sibling who passed out from the same school. So I obviously knew about a lot of opportunities that were there for me and the kind of path I wanted to carve out for myself. So the biggest thing was school never said no, as Simran and Tanya both have said. I did a lot of things. I did Model UN, I did Wharton competition, photography, dance, student council, global times, whatever youth can think of. I was just like, let me just try and see what happens. But don't get me wrong, I was a really, really shy kid and I was not great at all of these things. But the point is not what I did. It was just that the school gave me the freedom and the opportunity to just see what works for me. And that really mattered. So your list might look completely different, or you might just want to focus on one thing and go really deep in it, which is equally valid. It just matters that you have the option and the support to explore. And the school genuinely gives you that if you seek for opportunities. And that freedom generally shaped me who I am as an adult because I was never constrained here. I grew up always wanting to try different things, moving to a different country, switching industries, building something in a place that I've never even visited. None of that felt as scary because the school taught me what I needed to learn at a very young age. So, like a little bit about Mohan ma'am as well, she's one of our biggest supporters, and she genuinely still knows everything that's going on in our lives. So even after 12th grade, she will still be there. And that's a great thing for both my brother and I. As soon as we graduated, our father texted her pictures of our graduation, and it was great to see her response to that, even after a very long time. The second thing is friendship across continents. Actually, Simran, Tanmay Bhaiya, and I have been friends since college and have supported each other through continents, through careers, through every single change in life. There was a point in time where I was crying in Simran's apartment in Chicago because I didn't know whether I wanted to stay in the US and continue my job or come back to India. So, like, keep your friendships close. They are going to support you and they are going to build you from they're going to support you through whatever you want to do in life. Some of my closest friends are from school to this date. And the next thing is giving back. As I talked about before, community service is not just something we did for a certificate, even though that was a big plus. It shaped how we think about work itself. It's the reason my brother and I both are building in healthcare, and whatever we do has to give back, and that kind of responsibility came from here. The teachers here held me to a standard, the teammates here pushed me, and that is where this foundation was laid. The discipline you will dread in school right now is kind of one of your biggest assets as an adult because you're juggling a lot of different things. And that kind of discipline is very, very useful when you have a lot of things on your plate. So Mansi ma'am said to share some key lessons that we've learned. And even though we're still learning, we're still doing something new every day. I'll just share some of the biggest ones that have impacted my life. Careers are not straight lines. I went from finance to startups to living in Africa. Lateral changes and switches are completely normal, and change is the only constant, as I keep saying. So pivoting is very, very important. What you think you might want to do right now. Like I had a straight path that I wanted to do right after school, but it just like kept changing as I grew and as I got to know about more things. Skills carry over. Research taught me rigor, consulting taught me structure, and startups taught me resourcefulness. All of it shows up in your current role or whatever you choose to do. Grades really matter for the next step, especially if you want to go and target a really good school. Do well in your boards, that's like a non-negotiable. But after that, it's really about what you do and how you work with people. So those soft skills are also really important to build while you're studying for your boards. I had no background in healthcare before taking this on. Sometimes the best opportunities are ones you don't think you're obviously qualified for. And as Tanya said, that it might just be one competition that kind of changes your life and perspective of what you think you want to do. Okay, so The last slide is things I worried about in 12th grade. When I was sitting where you are, there was a lot of things that were going on in my mind while I was studying for SAT. I was also trying to do well in my boards to keep the India option open. So one of the biggest things was, what if I pick the wrong college? What if I pick the wrong career? I have changed fields multiple times. There's genuinely no wrong pick. It's just a first pick. You can keep changing depending on what you learn and what you kind of think about at that time. The second thing was, what if I'm not smart enough to achieve my goals? I felt out of my depth at every place that I've been at UCSD, because studying math at like a college level was quite intense for me. And at PwC and at every new thing, you just learn to adjust and just realize that everybody is kind of dealing with the same thing. So it's not just you. I do not have a plan. Honestly, I think even if you do have a plan, you will have to keep pivoting and changing. So a general direction is enough, and you can kind of build as you go. The last thing is the biggest one, which is, what if I fail? I genuinely got rejected from far more things that I got into. It's just how it works. Always remember, you kind of just need one yes to make it work. So that's it for my presentation. I'm happy to take any questions about life, about college, about anything at all, and we can also connect offline. So if you have anything that comes up in your mind right after the presentation, then we can definitely talk about that as well.
Thank you so much. I think we'll have the question answer session after Tanmay has also spoken. But
Yes.
it's so nice for you to be connecting. And what time is there at your place right now?
I'm actually in India because the flights were not working because of the war. But
Oh.
I'll go, like, it's 10 a.m. here.
That's good. That's really nice. I think we'll wait for the question answer session right now after the sessions are over for Tanmay also.
Okay.
Thank you so much, Soumya. Thank you.
Please welcome Tanmay Goyal, an alumnus of Amity International School, Push Vihar, who currently holds a computer science degree from Hong Kong University of Science and Technology and an MBA.
Can we have silence? Can we all sit straight? Yeah. Thank you.
And an MBA from Kellogg School of Management, Northwestern University. He has previously worked as a product manager at Rakuten and Google before co-founding Needs, a startup to increase mental health accessibility across India with the integration of technology and AI. Needs has already helped 20,000 plus people and delivered 2 lakh plus sessions across India. We invite you, sir.
Hello, everyone. I hope I'm audible.
Very
Right?
odd.
Okay. Firstly, I have to say this auditorium looks very different, much more nicer and fancier than when I was there back in 2015. So I think all the good things are happening after our batch left. Uh, but it's really nice to see everyone. Let me also share my screen. Let me know if you can see it.
We can see it. Yeah.
Okay, awesome. So I actually gave a similar presentation, I think during COVID in 2021. And I felt like this is something that every few years I would like to, come back and talk about, because these are some things I wish someone told me in school. I think school is one of the most defining parts of everyone's life, and there's a million things going on, from academics to friendships, to the mentorship that you receive from teachers, and so much like you're trying to figure out what you want to do for the rest of your life. And so during this time, it's very important to have some things in your mind so that it makes that period of time much more easier and fun. Because trust me, this is the most fun period of time in your life. This is the time when you have your entire life in front of you, the least amount of responsibilities, and you should fully enjoy it and make the best use of it. Also, this probably I'll talk about it later as well, but this is probably the most sharpest you are in your life right now. So it's very important that you make full use of this time. So before I talk a little bit about all those things, let me just tell you quickly my life journey. So I'm from the batch of 2015. In my school, I did PCM, science, etc. And then I was also in the student council, MUN, school band. So, and those things really defined the entirety of my life because these were the things that gave me both the left brain as well as the right brain aspect of my personality to work on. And then after that, even though I studied for IIT, I cleared the exam, but I decided to go to Hong Kong because I wanted to study. Like, I didn't know what I wanted to study actually at that point of time. So I wanted the option to explore. And Hong Kong gave me that kind of opportunity. So, and at that point of time, I also wanted to explore a little bit of China because that was where a lot of technology was happening. And I was always very passionate about technology. So that's what I did. But then I ended up moving to Japan after that. And again, that was a very random last minute decision because I got a job offer over there. And then I ended up going to work at Rakuten, which is like you can consider it like the Amazon of Japan. And then from there, after 4 years, I moved to Chicago, where I did my MBA at Kellogg School of Management. Um, and then from there, I had a choice to either stay in the US or move back to India. And I decided that I wanted to spend my life working on a mission that is very important to me, which is mental health, which also like is something that I and experienced like a need for while I was in school as well. And at that point of time, it was still like a very new concept for everyone. So I decided that I think India needs a lot more mental health support, and so I wanted to use my skills to do something in that space. So that's why I decided to move back and start Emo Needs, which I can talk more about later as well. But let's go back to the questions. So the first question that I always asked myself when I was in school is why do I have to study? And are grades actually important? Yes, obviously they are. They are the ones that unlock your colleges. They are the ones that unlock opportunities. Especially, like, I think grades get less important as you go further in your education. So the school grades are the most important. Undergrad grades are second most, and then if you end up going to masters, then that's when grades don't matter because by that time you've established your credibility. But I think the grades will come if you love learning. I think that is the most important part that like your curiosity needs to always be present. And learning how to learn is also a skill that you will need for the rest of your life. Because as everything changes, as new technologies start coming in, new ways to understand things come in, or for example you jump from different fields to different jobs to different roles to different domains, industries. The one thing that is common in that whole thing is like you can pick up things more quickly. And like I mentioned, I cannot do differentiation or integration or trigonometry or the laws of physics anymore, but in school that's what I could do. So you are the most smartest you are today, so ensure that you learn as much as you can because you only get dumber as you as you grow older. At least that's what I've noticed for myself. It's much harder to learn things. So your mind is very, very open to absorbing right now. So make sure you take in as much knowledge as possible. And the one thing I will mention is that there's a lot of comparison that happens in school. You obviously look around your peers, and there's always competition. Um, but I think the biggest competition should be with yourself. It's been almost more than 10 years since I've graduated from Amity, and everyone around me is doing amazing stuff. Even for example, people who were not getting the best grades in school, they're still today very successful, going to amazing universities and doing really good things. So it's always important that you always better yourself. And obviously, healthy competition is fun because it pushes you to be better. We see that in sports all the time and in other fields. But make sure that it doesn't affect you personally. So I think that is very important as you go ahead. And when you ask me how can you actually like learn how to learn, how can you make sure your curiosity, I think the most simplest answer is read as much as you can. read your textbooks not as something you have to memorize, but something that is actually giving you the knowledge that you may not have gotten anywhere else. And the one thing that I definitely want to mention is that AI didn't used to exist when I was in school, not even when I was in college. So it's a huge, huge game changer. But it's very important to use it to go deeper. Like, for example, if you find the concept of math interesting, you should go deeper into like how the application of it can be used in real life rather than asking it to just solve the question for you. So I think that is the big difference that we will see, that people who can use AI to get smarter and more knowledgeable will be the successful people in the future. And people who use AI to, get their work done without knowing what is happening, they it may be much harder for them to stand out because everyone else is doing that as well. Now, the next question, I think Soumya touched on this briefly. I, like everyone else, did not really, understand why do we have to get a haircut? Why do we have to do our nails? Why do we have to wear an iCard? Why am I being, thrown out of the class if I was 2 minutes late, etc., etc. But as you grow older, as you go into, and you should ask your parents this as well. All of these things really, really matter. If you are late for an important meeting, for example, your clients or even in my case, my investors may not take me seriously, right? If my nails are not done properly, if my haircut is not, it's not about long hair, short hair, but it's about being groomed well. And those things matter because they then tell the other person in the room says that, okay, there's someone who puts effort in yourself and you are well and presentable, and that makes people listen. So I think that you should think of it from that perspective. And even something simple as not having your ID card in office means you can't enter the building. So I think school is a really good place where you can have those skills or have those important discipline points, and that is something that will take you one step ahead of everyone else in your life. Obviously, another important thing that we learn from school is having integrity, and that is one of the most important things. I think honesty is really, really important. And that is something that, whether by choice or not, school always brought out of us. So I really appreciate that. And obviously, the traditions and culture. I think very interesting thing is that after having been all around the world, I still really appreciate, and I appreciate our Indian traditions and values even more when we go abroad because we see how they shaped us and how we are different than people from other countries because of these deep-rooted norms. So I think I really now I can say I really appreciate that Amity really took a huge focus on all of these things. But as I mentioned, you need to have fun too. These are also just some pictures from, even though with all the discipline and everything, we tried our best to have fun. So that's super, super important. I think school was one of the most fun times, as I mentioned, super carefree and just, just focusing on a few things that matter. And another thing that I think is very important is like figuring out what your passions are. This is the one time when you have a lot of time you can put into your passions. Um, and this is what will build your personality. Once you get into college, everyone around you has got the same grades. So how do you differentiate yourself then, right? Um, and these are things that define you. So for in my case, I in school was doing a lot of I was doing a lot of MUNs and I was in the school band. And those are two activities that really defined both the public speaking side for me as well as the creative aspect. And even till today, I think the reason I'm able to give this talk in a in a smooth manner, or for example, the fact that I performed in front of thousands of people as part of a band in the US, those are some things that were enabled in school. So, these are some pictures of me doing my passions in school. Now, a point about teachers, mentors, and friends. I think um, very important to point out that teachers are the best mentors. They are the ones who put in the most amount of time with you. And even if they are strict, it's like I would think that it's because they care even more, because why would anyone put any effort in you if they didn't care about you, right? So it's very, very important to navigate this space in a way that you get the, you understand the purpose behind however different teachers teaching styles, and you take the best out of it. And secondly, obviously, look at the people around you. These are, no matter if it's 10 years, 20 years, 30 years down the line, these will be your closest friends. These will be your companions. These will be people who will be there for you, even if you are happy, sad, and through your best moments. So ensure that you use this time to build the best of friendships as well. And now coming to my passion, which now has become mental health. I like my mission in life is to, bring this concept that mental health is as important as physical health. In school, I saw a lot of people around me go through a lot of mental health issues. At that point of time, it was very hard to even talk about these things or ask for help. So everyone ended up internalizing those things, and then they end up affecting them for the rest of their lives. So I very, very like I'm a huge proponent of being open, especially to your parents. You can be open to Mohan ma'am, and you can reach out for the appropriate help at any point of time. Because if these things are not addressed at an early stage, they can really affect not only you, but like people around you as well. Um, when we were in school, that was when Facebook was a thing. I don't know if it's a thing anymore, but social media had just started. But today, obviously, social media is a deeply integrated part of our lives, and it has its benefits and importance. But I think it's very important on how to consume it and how to curate it, because that is one of the biggest causes of mental health issues. I also use social media. I won't say that, it's just like I'm not some perfect person, but I know the fact that how it affects me mentally as well. So I think it's very important to figure out how to navigate through these things and how to ensure that along with, us being physically fit, we are also practicing mindfulness, we're also practicing gratefulness, and going deep into our brain and trying to understand what makes us ourselves. So can definitely talk more about mental health at a different time. But since this is more for alumni mentorship, so I thought I'll just at least ensure that I put this point across. And yeah, I think this is almost about to be my last slide. But my final advice, if I was to give to myself or anyone else in school, is that you'll do a lot of things in your life. You'll have a lot of opportunities. It's very important to choose the one where it's mission driven. Um, we have all, been brought into this world for a purpose. And if you find your purpose, then you can leave this planet better than it came. And I think that is the main goal for humanity in general. So I think it's very important to be curious, be a learner, find your passions, and then combine all of your interests to find your mission. Because then that is the thing that drives you, that is the thing that will bring you success and whatever else you want in life. If you look at some of your biggest role models in the business industry or in any industry, actually, they all ended up doing the thing they were really, really passionate about, and they became really successful. They earned a lot of money and they became really famous. But most importantly, they're leaving behind some kind of legacy that can continue on. So you are at a point of time where you can make the decisions that, define the next 20, 30 years or 50 years or your entire life. So I would really, encourage everyone to be very exploratory, ask the right questions, use the resources like internet, AI you have at hand to be a better version of yourself, and also obviously make sure you keep a check on your mental health during that whole period of time. And yeah, this is the final slide from me. I am super grateful, like looking back to all the opportunities that were given by Chairperson Ma'am, by Principal, and all my teachers, and obviously the building, the institution itself. I think lot of my life was defined within that building. And it gave us so much, and that's why we are here today, and we hope to keep giving back. And I hope that as you graduate and then you go and do amazing things, you also come back and, inspire the next generation of students to do the things that they want to do as well. So thank you so much.
May here is chairperson.
Thank you so much, ma'am, for coming. Tanmay,
But my camera is not working, so I think so. But Tanmay, you spoke so beautifully.
Thank you
You
so much, ma'am.
spoke
Really nice to hear your voice.
no, like a true amateur. All your points were nicely mentioned. है ना? You are here in Delhi or you are in
Yeah,
US?
I've moved back now. I live in back to Delhi. Yeah.
Acha, you have moved back. You are in Delhi. Acha,
Yeah.
okay, great, huh? Uh-huh. So I'm so impressed by you. Huh? कहते,
Thank you so much,
I
ma'am.
want
Yeah.
to see my amateurs like this. No, you told that God has sent every child, every person with a purpose, with a mission. And it's up to us how we use that, no? Great. I think the children must be having lots of questions to you.
just open the question answer session.
They are looking so excited.
Thank you, ma'am. Ma'am,
Tanmay, come in person and talk to them.
Yes, definitely. I think we can
हाँ
do
हाँ
another
कहते हैं
session.
ना
Yeah.
when you meet in person then it is a definitely a different view and different thought about they will see you as a handsome boy or man. तन्मय कहते हैं you remember still remember छोटे बाल रखो सीधे चलो. You remember that?
Yeah, of course. How can someone forget?
Okay, very good. Now the question session we can.
ma'am, Tanya, Simran,
Acha,
Soumya,
Simran is also there and
and
Soumya, you have already spoken, no?
yes,
And Tanya is also there.
yes, ma'am.
Yes,
Tanya and Simran have also spoken. It's already
Very
come
good
across
morning. Very
being
good
asked.
morning.
Yes,
Nice to see all of you.
So
nice to
nice
see
seeing you,
you,
ma'am.
ma'am.
Good morning. Hope you're well.
ma'am, we'll have the question answer session.
Please do. Go ahead.
Any questions from anyone? Can we sit straight? Anybody would like to ask any question, any query? Shrey, you have some? Please, yeah. Samarth.
Good morning, ma'am, and good morning, everyone who's here. The question I had for you guys is, you guys have all gone out.
Good morning, Tanmay bhai, bhaiya. What do you say, bhaiya or Tanmay, sir? What are you going to say? Speak like that.
Good morning,
Very good. You have the question to Mr. Tanmay. So you will say bhaiya or what you are going to say to Tanmay?
I would
अभी तो what you will say Tanmay bhai because he is senior to you, no? What are you going to say?
No, ma'am, it's okay.
No, no,
I think he
no.
had a question for everyone, so he was addressing everyone together.
So he can say didis and bhaiyas or whatever it
Yeah.
was.
Sure.
It is very important to learn at this stage. No, please, sorry to interrupt you in the between. Plus, now you can ask the question.
Ma'am, my question for both all the Biyas and Didis here is that you guys have all chosen to go out of India to do college, and the admissions process must have taken a toll on all of you. I just wanted to ask how your journey was. What stuff played a more like what stuff played a vital role into you guys going outside of India rather than staying in India? As Tanmay Bhaiya stated as well, that he wanted to do the JEE exam and pursue IIT in India as well. But what made him actually end up going out of India and doing college somewhere else rather than staying in India?
Let me maybe others can answer first, and then I can just answer the other question in the end. Yeah.
Okay, I can go first if everyone's okay with that. I think for me, a big factor was the fees at international institutions is quite a bit, and I think that should be an important consideration for everyone. You should have an open conversation at home and figure out if are your parents comfortable affording studying abroad after school? I think that wasn't something that I myself was comfortable with. I knew that I wanted to go abroad, and even having that conversation at home, the push at home was to do my master's abroad. And I think, I went to university 5 years ago. I mean, graduated just now, but I entered university 5 years ago. So things have definitely changed. But the narrative up until that time was that you go for your master's abroad, you don't go for your undergrad abroad. So that is what was pushed for at my house as well. And so I decided that if I was able to get a full scholarship, only then I would go. And that was the push factor for me. The other push factor was that I knew I wanted to study psychology. And at the time, psychology was not taken quite seriously as a university level subject in India. I didn't think I could pursue research in psychology and education with as much rigor within India, because there weren't many professors, there weren't a lot of funds supporting that type of research. So I knew that for my subject, it would be best to venture abroad. But I think depending on what you want to pursue, there might be incredible opportunities and sometimes even better opportunities in India. For example, if you want to start your own business, debatable, but then I think like in certain sectors, markets are much easier to venture in India. It's much easier to break in India versus or like other third world countries, versus like coming to the US and starting your own business is usually not the best idea and for you to do right after university. So I think like these are some things to consider, but I'm sure Simran, Soumya, Tanmay, you have other things to add as well.
Okay, I can jump in here. I'm glad you asked this question because as I was hearing everyone else speak, I wanted to make sure we mention this. I think it happened by happenstance and then also just by selection that all of us who are speaking today studied abroad. I know plenty of friends who stayed in India, went to great colleges in India, and have great careers. So I don't want the message here today to be that to be successful, you have to go outside of India. That is not true at all. I think there are wonderful colleges in India. I think things have changed a lot. A lot of us are really old. And when we graduated high school, things were very different. But now there are very good universities. So I think I definitely want to make sure that you know that. I think about what is the right fit for you. What do you want? And what do you want out of a college experience? I know that I wanted to try new things, study abroad, travel, have different experiences. And I think that there were universities in India that offered that, and there were universities in the US that offered that. I agree with Tanya that just talk to your parents and think about like have a very honest conversation with them. I was in, I think, eighth grade when I went to my dad and I was like, okay, like I want to study in the US. I saw this YouTube video and I was like, I really want to do this. I wanted to go to Stanford. And we then sat down and looked up the fees and looked up scholarships and all of that. But I think by no means does this mean that you have to go to the US or Hong Kong or Singapore. There are great universities in India. There are great universities in Delhi. What matters is what you do once you're at a university.
Answer, no? That is a good answer, Simran. Simran, you have studied from Harvard. Which program did you study?
Yes, ma'am. I'm studying at Harvard right now. I'm studying my master's in public policy.
At public policy. There must be that apna Sonali also. She's also studying, Sonali Chauhan.
Yeah, she is. She is studying
Yes,
here.
yes, she is also studying public policy, no?
Yes, she
I
is.
think that she is in the second year.
Yes, she's
And
in her
which year?
second year.
Which year you are?
I'm in my first year. I just started.
You are in your first year.
Yeah.
Good, great. It was great to hear, no?
Yeah,
But you gave a good answer, no? It's up to you how to use it, no? Otherwise, you
Yeah,
can study anywhere in the world, no?
absolutely.
Okay, Swami, you also want to say something?
Yeah, I just wanted to add that I did not know that I wanted to go abroad. So I just did a lot of things that would open both options for me. I did apply in India as well. And I agree with Simran that it does not matter where you study, it's genuinely what you make of it. And I think you also asked about balancing. So the thing with school is that as we spoke about before, there's so much discipline that is put into school so that you are able to kind of do both the things at once. I was going to SAT classes because I kind of opened up to Mohan ma'am about it. So she was very, very supportive about it as well. And I was studying for my boards. So you can do it all. Just keep your options open because you might not know what the right fit for you is.
Yeah, I actually, sorry, super quickly do want to jump in here. I completely agree. I also think talk to your teachers about it. I remember when I was, for me, like 11th grade exams really mattered because if you're applying to the US, board results don't matter because they have to send your results earlier. So I remember going to Naveen sir and being like, okay, like I really, this is my board exam, um, and I also think like sharing with them when your SAT is or when your other tests are so they can maybe be flexible with you and support you in that way. Um, so yeah, definitely double clicking what Samya said here.
Yeah, I'll just put in a small, like my thoughts. At that point of time, like I mentioned, I didn't know what I wanted to study. And at least in the engineering college system in India, you had to choose your major at the time of admission. And that's, I think now it's changing. Like there's a lot of more, liberal arts colleges and colleges that allow you to um, explore a bit before you choose whatever you want to study. So I think that was the most important thing to me. I didn't end up going to the US, so I chose a much more affordable option. But yeah, the point would be that even if you want to go somewhere, I think there's like if you work hard enough, there's a lot of scholarships available. There's a lot of different ways you can do it. So if you think it's a very key, point, like it's like if you want to study something unique that is not available here, or if you want a different kind of experience, or if you see your life um, exploring in a different country, definitely explore it, and ways will figure themselves out on how to reach there. Yeah.
He has a mic. Thank you.
No, no, is he satisfied? No, is he satisfied?
Amar?
Yes. Yeah, thank you everybody for your answers.
Yes. Yeah, this is the way, no?
Mic. Come in. Come this side, bit.
Good morning, Chairperson Ma'am. Good morning, Didis and Bhaiya. My name is Dhruv, and my question is how multiple interdisciplinary activities that Amity offers, including Basudha, the school band, all of which you have participated in, how that helped you develop and how that was also beneficial for your portfolio. I would like to know how important that was.
Is anyone?
Okay, I can start.
Okay, sure.
I think all of these activities are extremely important in different ways. I like everybody talked about Model U and kind of helps with your public speaking. So when you're kind of presenting something or you're talking about yourself, you talk about it in a more structured manner. And other activities like Global Times help with your writing, help how you write your applications. And one of the competitions I did at that time was the Wharton competition. I don't know if it happens right now as well. That kind of, oh, okay. So that was a pivotal moment for me because I realized that I really like numbers and I love finance and investing and all that side of it. So that's how I got to know that I kind of want to do math, economics, business, all of that together, because that's what the competition was all about. So portfolio wise, all these things are very, very helpful, especially for college, because you kind of have a lot of things to talk about. Otherwise, everybody's application is kind of similar. But if you're doing these activities, they kind of differentiate you and make you unique for that particular school. And otherwise, personally, they help you develop into the person that you become as an adult.
Soumya, have you participated in Interact Club? Interact
Yes,
Club,
ma'am. I was a part of
IAYP?
No, maybe not IAYP. I was a part of Interact Club.
You were the part
Yes.
of the Interact Club.
Yes.
Yeah, I agree with what Soumya said as well, that I think every different activity and opportunity that school offers helps develop a different niche skill that will either be helpful in applications or interviews. I think that firstly, participating in a bunch of different activities helps you identify what you don't like. And I think that is very important because once you go to university as well, you will have the opportunity to do theater or be part of organizing communities or organize events. I think that's a really big part of Indian colleges. Not so much. I haven't really seen it in Canada at least, or even some US universities, but it really happens in India. And I think that's amazing. Like I would have loved to do that if I was in an Indian college. So a lot of different opportunities you get. And I think doing it is the best way to know whether you like to do it or not. And that will help give you direction in what you want to do in life. So almost doing it is not just because you would like to have it on your resume and it helps you get to the next job and then the next job and then the next job. I think we often think of how what is the consequence and what are we getting out of this opportunity that we're participating in, but sometimes the takeaway is just I just want to know whether I like this experience or not, and that is really important. And the other thing that participating in these opportunities and activities helps you with is writing your essays, because if you actually want to go abroad, you need something to talk about. They will ask you, when did you fail? What did you like? What did you learn from different opportunities? They want to see how you think. And as I mentioned in my presentation as well, I think you need to learn how to express that clearly. So definitely learn how to communicate better, learn how to write better. Um, Maybe put in an article for the Global Times every now and then. They're always looking for articles from students. But more importantly, you need something to write about. And for that, you need to participate in different experiences. So I think that is another reason why participating in different activities can be helpful. So not just for your resume, but these other reasons as well.
I can go next.
No, I've got a question. All of you must have participated in the ACC camp also. Did it help you? Did
Yes,
it help
ma'am.
you?
Waking
Yes,
up at
I
5
want the
a.m. and
feedback. I want
marching
to have
is
the
always
feedback.
fun.
It
Yeah.
was a fun or something that you have learned out of it, no? Fun is one thing, and some learning out of it.
I think it definitely was both. I think we learned a lot out of it. I think for me, I remember it was the first time I had stayed away from home and like done
Yeah.
like a camping experience, and I learned so much. Um, And yeah, to answer your question, I think I'll say a couple of things. I think firstly, outside of essays, outside of applications, it just makes you a better person. You want to have things to talk about, you want to have things that engage you and sort of add more layers to your personality. Um, and I think you'll have to do this time and again. You'll do it now in school, but you'll also have to do it in college. In college, also, you'll have to do extracurriculars, involve yourself after college. When I was working, even then I had to do all of this. When you graduate college and then when you apply for your master's, it's not that, okay, I have my job, I have college, and that's it. Even when you're working, you have to do extracurriculars to then help with your master's application. So I think this is something that just be a part of your life. And I think for all of us across the board, as you can tell from our presentations, what we did in school shaped the kind of activities we picked, shaped the kind of careers we picked. I don't think I would have done model UN. I don't think I would have ended up in public policy if I had not done model UN in school, right? I think it's a direct link. I don't think I would have ended up in social impact if I hadn't done youth power or hadn't done interact club in school. Um, but I think also it teaches you how to balance all these things. It teaches you how to make sure that your notebook is complete, even though you were going for a competition, the day before, or how to study for a test, even though you got home late after art classes or guitar classes. And I think that's a good habit. But I think most importantly, it also really helps you make friends. Some of my closest friends are because we did competitions together, because we practice together. Tanmay and I are friends because we did Model UN together. I have friends from Amity Saket or Amity Gurgaon because we would do a lot of these competitions together and we'd be competing with each other. And even now, like 9 years later, some of those friends from Amity Saket are the ones that I was still friends with in Chicago because we all ended up in the same city and so on and so forth. So I think just to add to what the other said, try out things. The school is your playground, so just play with it.
Yeah, I think everybody else just gave a good answer. I don't have much more to add. I just think, yeah, it'll really helps your soft skills in the long run. It builds your personality. And I think, as I mentioned, that is what will, help you stand out when you go into a field or like a college where, or even in your existing class. How do you stand out when everyone else is, scoring the same marks or um, doing all the same things? So this is something that helps build your personality and defines you a little bit. So best time to explore different things and figure out what you like and then go deep into it. I think it's very important to try out many things, but then once you figure out what you like, be really, really good at it so that you can build your personality that way.
Thank you so much for all the answers. That was really helpful. Thank you.
Great.
Good morning, Chairperson ma'am and Didis and Bhaiya. So my question to you is, while you were in your college, the lockdown obviously happened. So how would you say it affected your life? Did it help you increase your social networking? Because at that time, being digital was a very big thing because everything used to happen digitally. Or was it a challenge you had to overcome because, you were just in your dorms and homes and you couldn't really go out? Would you say it was an obstacle or it actually helped you progress more in life?
Should I? Okay. So I can't go back and say like if it had happened differently, what would have happened or how I would have progressed right now. I think everything happens for a reason and you kind of make the best of it. I personally came back to India. So the biggest thing for me was that all my classes were at night. So I was staying up all night, sleeping all day. So my routine was kind of messed up so that was a difficult thing to navigate, but it's obviously nice to come back home as an adult and see what like your life is because I stayed there for a year and then came back because of COVID. So I think there were pros and cons to both. There will be a lot of obstacles, there will be a lot of challenges. You just kind of learn how to adjust and deal with them and make the best of them. So I did a lot of things while I was in India. I joined so many clubs because it was virtual, so I could just attend like 10 different club meetings one after the other. So it was kind of a blessing in disguise because I was able to try a lot of different things, which I wouldn't have been able to had I been in person because I could have only like had time for one thing.
I was still in school when lockdown happened. It didn't really affect my college. Um, but yeah, I mean, it was just sad. This is unrelated, but we didn't get our like we didn't really have our farewell. And I know Mohan ma'am is probably like showing eyes at me because I've brought this up way too many times now. But yeah, we did not have our farewell because of the lockdown. that's all. That was my hardest experience through the lockdown.
Tanya, you can get the batch together and we can think of it then.
Okay, ma'am. Will do.
अरे क्या हुआ मिसेस मोहन, क्या बोला तान्या ने? जो मैंने आई मिस्ड, आई वाज वर्किंग तो आई मिस दैट व्हाट तान्या सेड.
Ma'am, I said,
Tanya, say.
ma'am, I said the student was asking that a lot of people on the panel had COVID when they were in college. So I said that I was still in school when COVID happened, and the hardest thing that I had to go through was that my batch didn't have their farewell. And the citation also, ma'am. We didn't get the citation.
citation भी तुम्हारा अब कर देते हैं दोबारा. We do your
Ma'am, please.
citation.
Please, ma'am.
We do your citation. है ना? Mrs.
I will
Mohan,
bring the batch together. Then
now
we
we
will.
bring the batch together and we do it. In Amity,
Okay.
nothing is impossible, no?
Yes, ma'am. Done.
Mrs. Mohan, Mrs. Mohan,
Yes, ma'am, I'll be.
हाँ इनका हम citation कर देते हैं इनके बैच का, हाँ तान्या के बैच का.
Thank you.
ओके, इनका फेयरवेल भी कर देंगे ना?
हाँ जी, ma'am, हाँ जी.
Thank you, ma'am.
Okay.
Tanmay,
See that?
Simran, you were saying something, sorry.
Yeah, no, sorry. Tanya, do you want to add something? Okay. I was like, Tanya, see that reunion yoga. But again, like we're showing our age. I was ending my college when COVID happened. So I was writing a thesis, like a 70-page research thesis. So it was almost good to be home. I was also back home in India. My dad was very adamant because it was chaotic and he wanted me to be close to home. I think what I did was I really just tried to make the most of the time. I was trying new recipes from YouTube and learning how to cook, trying new hobbies, reading. I know Tanmay and Tanya mentioned how important reading is just for fun. And I think it just really teaches you to go back to the basics, right? Like spending time with family, trying out new things, making sure you're learning, making sure you're taking care of your physical health. But of course, it was a really stressful time. I think a lot of people, families really struggled. A lot of people lost their lives. It was a health crisis. But I think given all of that, I definitely think it was a challenging time for everyone. But it was privileged and happy to learn and use that to just try new recipes every day. Yeah.
Yeah, I graduated right before COVID started, so I was lucky to not have to, like I got the full experience. But I will say, I think immediately after graduation, I had moved to Japan, and when COVID happened, so lockdown happened, so I was alone, and I think that was for me a pivotal moment because that was the first time I, for example, went through depression and understood what mental health can do to a person and people around. And I think that's when I started seeking out for help and figured out, okay, this is a very important thing that more people should be aware of. And today, whatever I'm doing is because I had that kind of experience. And so yeah, so I would say like I think everyone had formative experiences during COVID, and I think just having so much time to think really defines what you do as well. So I still try to ensure that I have some time in the week just to purely think and focus on myself because that is when you will unlock all of the good opportunities that can come your way.
Thank you. Your answers really helped me.
Can we have silence here?
Good morning, Chairperson Ma'am, Didis and Bhaiyas. I wanted to know some tips or tricks you might have gained up regarding balancing extracurriculars with studies because personally I'm working in a lot of OSS projects and in different organizations. So my studies are quite lacking due to that. So if you have any tips, that would be much appreciated. Thank you.
What's the OSS project?
Open source. So like I'm
Okay.
with NASA as well. So
Very impressive. Does anyone have anything to say, or I can jump in?
You can.
Yeah, I would say I think time management and prioritization is really important. I'm sure you have a lot of things on your plate at the same time. So, every day you can decide, okay, like what is the most urgent thing that I need to do? And also what is, like, for example, if you have exams coming up, or if you have, some important deliverable coming up in school. So that is a week where you can decide, okay, this week I'm only going to focus on studies, because there's also what happens in college. In college, you're not constantly doing the same thing every day. You have to pick and choose your how your week is structured based on what is important, right? So yeah, and then the summer is coming up, so I think that will be a great time where you can do a lot more outside of school. And then you can also, like, what I used to do was I used to study ahead in the summer, so that by the time the August, September came. So I had a little bit of a buffer period of time where I can then focus on extracurriculars. Or I knew that the MUN season happens during this period of time. So these are some things that I should, either catch up later or do that. So it's doable. But yeah, just ensure that no, because you're doing so many projects, that everything else is in place and your teachers are happy or satisfied with whatever you're doing, because otherwise, then you can have restrictions on both sides, which will get much harder. Yeah.
Yeah, I think Tanve covered a lot of it. What I used to like to do is I would make a timetable for myself, even for when I was home. And I would like actually like color it and be like, okay, this is the time when I'm studying. This is the time when I'm doing my homework. This is the time when, like, let's say every day, if you want to spend an hour working on your OSS project, or if you have certain meetings, I think like chalking that out really helped me. I again think like communicating with your teachers and making sure that like they are on the same page and they understand that, okay, if you are doing this project and something is due tomorrow, then you're able to work with them. Relying on your friends, I think, really helps, and make sure that they're a good support system. Um, but I think learning how to balance your time is something that you will, if you can figure it out at a young age, it'll really help. And I think it's something that we always have to do. Every day we make a choice about, okay, like today, for example, I have an assignment uh due tomorrow afternoon for college, and I have to be here for this call, and I have to balance my time. So this is just something you'll be doing for the rest of your life. So the sooner you figure out a system that works for you, the better it'll be.
That's so beautifully said, Simran.
Yeah, I agree with what Tanmay and Simran said. I was just doubling down on like keeping your teachers in the loop. My teachers always knew if I was part of a competition and, I won't be in class. And so sometimes they, handed me the notes, or they would say that, okay, like I spoke to this student for you and they can give you the notes later. So they were so helpful that instead of me having to speak to a student to give me their notes, they did it for me, which I think you only find at Amity. I don't even know if it happens elsewhere, because I was truly blessed with the greatest teachers. So I think, and as Simran said, also friends um, who I could rely on. So definitely build that support system, because I'm sure everyone on the panel will agree. Like we have done so many things today. It was because of parents, grandparents, siblings, friends, teachers, school, even the Didi Bhaiyas at school. So I think you definitely need that community to help support the millions of dreams that you are going to fulfill as you go through school, college, and life after that.
Can I jump in super quickly and add one thing? I think you really have to earn trust, especially that of your parents and teachers. I think if you like, and I think I've realized that. So if you are working on side projects, and if you are and balancing schools, I think if you're being honest about it and doing that, then your parents will trust you. But let's say if your like teacher just sees you that you're just goofing off, or if your mom enters your room and sees you're watching YouTube instead, like that trust will then make it harder for you to be able to do all of those things. So just make sure that you're actually earning their trust. Because So if you say you're out of class for XYZ activity, make sure you're doing a good job. Make sure you're actually doing that. Because I think when both parties, you and the teacher, you and the parent, everyone trusts each other and you're honoring that trust, then they'll trust you more. Then they'll be like, अच्छा चलो कोई बात नहीं, आज ये कर लो. अच्छा चलो कोई बात नहीं, like ये कल दे देना. But then if they catch you lying or like doing, goofing off, then that's bad for them also. So I think I've learned it over the years that earning trust, even for your mom, for your dad, is very important.
Right, very good.
I think everybody covered it. I think just one last point is that in this situation, integrity is the most important. जो मैं बोलता हूँ वो मैं करता हूँ. So whatever you commit to, you have to get it done. If you're saying you're going to study for your Monday test and get this marks, you owe it to yourself and your teachers to get it done. So this is where integrity kind of plays a role, and you can get it done. I think you can do like 10 different things and ace like all of them if you kind of manage your time well.
Thank you.
I think this should be the last question for the day.
So, good morning, Chairperson ma'am, and good morning to all the Didis and Bhaiyas. So, specifically, my question is to Simran Didi and Soumya Didi. So, you guys studied in the US, like I observed from my presentation. So, right now, the situation in US is a bit like, yeah. So, I think you know what I mean. So, my sister is also studying in the US right now. And I also did consider US as an option. Earlier, I went in 2015. I visited the US in 2015, and since then it's been my dream to study and settle in the US. But now I'm reconsidering it. So, do you still recommend considering US as an option?
Should I start? Okay. I think it depends if you what your goals are. If your goal is and you have the privilege to actually just go and study there, I think it's a great opportunity. You kind of get to explore a lot of different things, which like you can change your major every year if you feel like it, obviously with some consistency. So that kind of exploration, that kind of cultural global perspective is quite helpful. And I also think that the opportunities I got personally in my college life, I maybe wouldn't have gotten in India at that time. I don't know about the situation right now. I think it's great now in India as well. But if your perspective is to go there, get a job, and then maybe like build your life in the US, then you definitely have to think through it well, because the situation for international students is difficult. So
आरती संजय और अंशु अरोड़ा को मिलाओ इकट्ठे. संजय और मैम अंशु अरोड़ा.
sorry. So just see what your priority is. If your priority is just to explore, just to see, and you have that kind of financial backing to do that, then definitely consider it. If not, then you can get equal or more opportunities in India as well. So I would say that if your long-term goal is to get a job, I think you can reconsider it right now, especially with the circumstances. But if it's just to explore, then yeah, definitely go for it. I had a great experience.
Yeah, I completely agree with what Samya said. I think I've been in the US for 9 years now. So I would be a hypocrite if I said, oh, like, don't come here. I think it's great. I think the culture is great. I think in academic institutions in college. I think it completely depends what you want to do. I think there are industries that are much more flourishing much better in India. Like Tanya said, like if you want to do entrepreneurship, India is where the market is, right? If you want to build something of your own, India is where that is. I think I will push back on this dichotomy of like US and India. That's not the case anymore. Bahut countries hai. There's Europe, there's UK, there's Canada, there's Singapore. All of them have different levels of sort of the expenses are different. Industries that are good in those countries are different. I think the India US is not the only choice. The choice is again, like I said, like think about what works for you. If you want to be somewhere long term, then what the visa process is something that you should think about, right? Versus like Samya said, if you just want to go for college, then maybe US is an option to explore. But I think do your research, spend time on like, again, I know you're anyway spending a lot of time on the internet, but use that to do your research, watch YouTube videos, think about like what are the universities in Germany, what are the universities in Canada. I was in the US, but my brother is in Canada, and I think some of that was because it is a much easier long-term visa process in case he chooses to do that. I think a lot of people who I know that were in the US end up back in India. They end up moving back. A lot of people who it ends up being a very personal choice. So I think about what you specifically want and reach out to people, like talk to mentors and make that decision for yourself. There's no like blanket answer.
Yeah, and I have one small question from Tanya Didi as well. Like mentioned theater 2-3 times, and I am a really big theater freak. I like do a lot of theater in school. I'm in every competition I can participate in. So I want to ask how it has helped you right now in college and all, in the applications as well.
I actually remember when I also applied to Harvard when I was applying for my undergrad. I didn't make it, but I to the date say that my Harvard application was my best application that I have ever written. And one of the questions was the Harvard essays are actually very different from a lot of other essays where it was very short, like it was almost like think a very small paragraph. That was one of the essays that they had requested. And I wrote it around my theater experience. I actually made it like in a poem form. And I still remember the essay as well, which basically talked about how theater allows me to be in a lot of different shoes. Because when I am performing as a princess, or I'm performing as an old man, or I'm performing as a witch, all of which I've done, by the way, um, I turn into a completely different person. And whether it's for those 2 minutes on stage, I experience that character. And I think it definitely builds a lot of confidence and character. I think like just being in theater allows you to flow in conversations, allows you to be very confident, allows you to be expressive, which I'm a very, very big proponent for. So I think theater helped me in essays because I really loved doing theater. The idea here is that when you do things you enjoy, whether it's theater, whether it's something else, it's going to flow through you when a question is asked about, hey, what do you like to do?
Hello,
Hey,
Aishu.
talk about a time you
Good
failed.
morning,
Talk
Aishu.
about a time you
That is
succeeded.
like I was
So
hearing from Sanjay कि जो
so I
आप
think that
अप्रूवल कराते
just
हो
keep
और
in mind,
रिगार्डिंग
if
इट
you
नहीं
really like
पता
doing
कि
theater,
आपका जो
So,
लैब वगैरह की
definitely
फीस
explore it
Chairperson ma'am, your
more.
mic is on.
है ना तो वो कहते
Chairperson
हैं
ma'am, your mic is
इट इज अ
on.
पार्ट ऑफ द कंपोजिट फीस
Chairperson ma'am.
है ना
Yeah, I think like even in college, in India or abroad, you will have the opportunity to explore theater. So don't let it go. Definitely taught me a lot. And yeah, I don't know if I answered your question. I got too excited when I
Okay.
heard theater. So
Thank you so much.
Good morning, Chairperson ma'am. Good morning, Didi and Bhaiya. I had a question so thank you so much for motivating us and sharing your perspectives. I had a question. What do you think is a really pivotal and important point, an important skill to have in your profile for scholarships? And especially as I'm really interested in University of Toronto, Tanya Didi, what do you think led to you getting the Lester B scholarship?
I don't think there is a set bunch of activities or skills that you can put in your um, resume that can just help you get in. I actually was a reviewer for this year's Pearson scholarship cohort, so I have some secret information that I probably should not be giving here right now. But basically, when we review those applications, we get to see. We don't really see if what you have done is out of the ordinary. We actually determine it based on what you have written. So you could have just done theater all your life in school, taken part in every single theater competition, and that be the only thing you did. And there were people like that who were put forward to the next round because of what they were able to extract from that experience and how well they were able to speak to that experience. So when I keep talking about like learn to communicate well or express yourself well, it definitely incorporates what Tanmay was talking about. It takes some time to think, take some time to be a pensive person. If you reflect on your experiences, whether it's just theater or it's theater, Global Times, IYP, I don't know, every other opportunity, the Wharton, and then this student who was talking about doing OSS and the NASA competition that we have in school. You can have multiple things and you can have one thing, but it is your reflection of those experiences or that one experience which will differentiate you from other students. So I would say that, and I think Tanmay mentioned this as well, once you figure out what you like, definitely go deep into it, definitely try to become really, really good at it, because then it shows that you've identified what you like and you're trying to be great at it. You're trying to pursue excellence. And I think once we see that you're trying to pursue excellence, it really shows the committee that this is someone who will make great use of the resources that U of T has. This is someone who wants to help their community, not just themselves. Who's not just thinking about what can I put on my resume. I think Simran and Soumya both talked about like community service isn't something we did for the certificates, and it's not something that's taught to us at Amity to do for the certificates, right? Like Chairperson ma'am has taught us about, we have this mantra that we've had, Bhag, ever since we were in school. And one of the A's in Bhag is for attitude. And I think the attitude that you have towards these opportunities and activities that you're participating in really changes the reflection you have towards those activities. So if you're thinking, I'm doing this so that I can have it on my resume and apply for the scholarship, it will show through your writing. But if you're doing it because you're like, I'm so excited to experience this and make friends, as Simran was saying, like, and contribute to my community, as Soumya was saying, then that will also show through your application, if that helps.
Thank you so much.
Yeah. Something I'll add here super quickly is that they're not just picking you, you're also picking them. And Amity is Amity because of the students. A Columbia or a Harvard or a Kellogg is the institution because of the students in the room. So it's also not just, okay, hey, this is everything I've done, so please pick me. A little bit is also, hey, this is what I've done in the past. I know you have these opportunities available, and this is how I want to contribute to your institution. I think whether you, like, let's say if you take up my advice and want to do an internship if this summer or in college, it's also about like, okay, these are my skills. This is how I can help you. This is what I am bringing to the table. I think anytime you apply for something, it's you want to show what you are also offering. So just be a little bit like strategic about how you frame that. I think they want students who want to make a difference in that new community. They want students who want to go to a University of Toronto and say, how can I make a University of Toronto better? So just keep that in mind. I think that's helped me across as I've applied for jobs, applications, scholarships, everything. So completely agree with everything Tanya said. This is just the one thing I'll add.
Yeah, definitely. I think anytime I apply for something, I am often asked. In fact, there are a lot of grants that I am looking at right now where they are asking me, how have you made a dent or like a strong difference in your community? And oftentimes I see people who've applied before me, and I've seen the amazing things they have done for the communities they're a part of. And I think this will definitely help you identify different communities you're a part of. I think when I was in school, I don't think I had a great idea about the communities that I was a part of. And today, I think I'm a part of a lot of different communities. I go to play badminton at this community center that we have close by, and I know everyone that comes to play badminton every Thursday at 7 p.m. And that is the community I'm a part of. If tomorrow I figure out a way to supply shuttlecocks for that community because the ones that they provide are really bad, that is me trying to help the community, right? I used to visit the temple a lot when I was in India, and I do the same thing now. And I have a community there as well. So I think just identifying different communities you're a part of is the first step in learning how you can actually help your community. So your community is not just the students around you when you go to school or the students around you that at University of Toronto. There are a lot more communities, and it really helps to identify them. So I hard agree with what someone said.
So we have got a great community, no? Amitasha and Talasha. No?
Yeah, exactly. You have
Yes,
the opportunity.
Yes, we have got around thousands of girls studying in Amitasha, and they're doing so well.
Absolutely.
They have given their board exam, 10th and 12th, and they have given great. They have done very well in their exams.
That's amazing. Ma'am, would this be the first batch of giving the
No. We started in the 25th batch.
Oh, wow, that's amazing.
It's the 20. We started in 2000.
That's
25
amazing.
years of Amitasha. I'll send you the photographs to all the girls, to
That's
Tanna
amazing.
also and all of you. Whatever Amitasha girls are doing. I'll send you a small brochure.
Yes, please. Would love
I used
to.
to volunteer with Amitasha girls when I was in school,
Ah,
so I definitely remember.
Around 400 boys are studying at Tulasha boys. But with
Wow.
Amitasha is, I will ask Mrs. Mohan or I'll send from my office a small brochure to you.
Definitely send it across.
Absolutely.
They have got a beautiful song, Sapna Dekha Hai Maine. मैंने भी देखा है सपना.
It's on YouTube also, you can see it.
It's on the YouTube. This song is on the YouTube. No? You will love it.
For sure.
I still remember the Bhag mantra. That's so amazing. After so many years.
कहते हैं they must not be knowing na Bhag mantra of our founder.
And they know it. And they know it. They know it.
They know it. Okay. I'm so happy they have given their such a precious time to their younger friends, no? All of you. You are in USA. Soumya, where are you? You are placed in USA?
So Soumya is in India right now, ma'am.
Soumya is in India.
Simran is in USA and Tanya is in Canada, ma'am, Toronto.
Tanya is in Canada. Okay, great. So Soumya and Tanya, you should come to the school, no? I'll come and meet you over there only.
That'd be so nice, ma'am. They both will come.
Okay, great. I'm feeling so proud of you.
Thank you so much for this.
Thank you so much.
I think the entire Sarthi program, the alumni mentorship, was only and only our respected chairperson, ma'am's brainchild again. Because she feels from where you've gone and what you've achieved from the school, how it can come back. And as you've been talking about the community and to giving it back to the society, I think this is our chairperson, ma'am's biggest dream. To see all our Amitians doing so exceedingly well in the World Forum.
Yeah, thank you so much, ma'am, for this opportunity. I think.
When you send me कहते हैं about Tanmay, Tanya and Soumya and Simran, I was so excited what they're doing. And I've sent to all my family members what my Amitians are doing.
Thank you so much, ma'am, for encouraging us.
Yes. And I want to just tell you, this year from Pushvihar, we have got Samaya, who has gone to Stanford. She has got the admission in Stanford. And this Samaya has got in the University of Penn. And Sanjana, she was also the part of Pushvihar only. She has also got into Stanford, Stern College, Huntsman, for the Huntsman program and University of Pennsylvania, and the Wharton program. So this is Amity Pushvihar.
That's amazing.
Now students are going to be in the Ivy League colleges following your footsteps, all of you. So I think Pushpar is making a name because of her chairperson, ma'am's. Ma'am, they all spoke about Vasudha, they all spoke about mathematics, they spoke about Mun, they spoke about global times. How these opportunities fare them well in life, ma'am. That was really, really great, ma'am. Thank you.
The dream, no, this is the dream. We gave so many opportunities to the children that they do well in their life. Good. And they have taken with. That is so important. Okay.
I personally think even this Sarthi program is really great. Having alumni connection is super important, and we are actually open if you want to talk offline, if you want any mentorship, any advice, or just want to talk about something because we've gone through the same experiences as you. We're completely open. Just reach out. And honestly, I think you can reach out. The special thing about Amity is you can reach out to anybody who's from Amity, and it's like instant connection and instant family. So we've experienced that in the US, we've experienced that in every country we've gone to. So as long as you're an Amitian, you will be able to have an instant connection. So use this program well, like actually reach out to all the alumni who have passed out because they must have made the same mistakes that you can avoid.
I think, ma'am, with your permission.
I want to say one thing. I was talking to Amity Noida alumni, Saket alumni, and they said all the Amitians from wherever they are, they have the same qualities. They have the same qualities. No, there was a story about last year or before that, the child went to Wharton from Amity Saket, and one of the child from 46 sector. And both they said when I saw him, that was I think so Dhruv and the other was I don't remember the name. And they said when I saw him, I thought he's from Amity. And the other boy also said the same thing. And when Dhruv said when I saw him, I thought that he's from Amity only. And then they said we were both from Amity. The qualities and the personality they resemble so much of humbleness, humility, respect. That are the qualities. Do you think these are the qualities of Amitian?
Yes, ma'am, for sure.
Yes. Wish you all the best. God bless you.
Thank you so much, ma'am. Thank you once again.
I think the ones who were as an audience, if you would have benefited out of the session, it is our chairperson ma'am's dream to build up this mentorship program. And I think the opportunities which the students have spoken about are again the opportunities given only by chairperson ma'am. So I think big kudos and big this thing for chairperson ma'am. Let's hope we keep connected in the coming years and we keep connecting the other students of your badges across, and you could get them also to be a part of this Sarthi program. That would be really nice. And thank you so much, you adorable youngsters, handsome and beautiful girls, for being a part of this program and motivating the students. सबको नहीं भी इफेक्ट होगा, एटलीस्ट जितनों को भी इफेक्ट होगा, they will really benefit out of it. Thank you once again. Can you have a huge round of applause for them? Thank you, Simran, Anya, Tanmay, and Soumya.
Thank you, ma'am. Thank you so much.
Thank you so
Thank
much.
you. God bless you all. God bless you. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you. I think as an audience, we were really poor.